Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Friday, March 24th. Ian Cameron, we got Skee Prophet, Billy Briz, ready to break down the Friday NBA card. It is a big card for this Friday. Once again, we had a couple Fridays where we've had less games. Not today. We're back to a big slate, 9 games on tap. So let's get right into it. We'll start with San Antonio and Washington. Washington 8-point favorites here at home, 228 being the total here in this one. We know that the San Antonio Spurs continue to have their share of problems. Well, it's not just their share of problems. I don't think they're all that interested in winning these days, to be quite honest with you either. I don't know how they beat Atlanta, quite honestly, at home, 126-118 a few days ago. But really outside of that, they've had some tough times. They got blown out by New Orleans and Milwaukee. Ugly losses, 35-point loss to New Orleans, and then an equally bad 36-point loss to Milwaukee on Wednesday night. Will they be able to rally the troops and bounce back here? Can you stomach laying 8 with Washington, I guess, is the big question. This is a team that's 0-4 straight up in ATS their last 4 games. So I get it. San Antonio is tough to back them, but my goodness, Washington's lost 4 straight, both straight up in ATS. There's no Bradley Beal. There's no Kyle Kuzma tonight for the Wizards, but there's a lot of questions for San Antonio. I'm just wondering who the hell is going to suit up for them. Socan won't play tonight for them. Langford's out. Devin Vassell looks like he has a game-time decision with the knee issue. Zach Collins, who has basically become the starting center for them since the trade of Jakob Poeltl. He's questionable due to injury. You got Doug McDermott, game-time decision, although he's been upgraded to probable for the Spurs. Trey Jones, upgraded to probable with the foot issue. Keldon Johnson upgraded to probable with the neck issue. So the good news is they've got, and Devontae Graham looks like he's going to play as well. So they do have some people upgraded, but still there's a lot of people playing through pain, playing through injuries. And then there's still a few that are not even going to suit up tonight for the Spurs. So it's a really tough game. I mean, I don't really think I can back San Antonio, but we're getting to the point now where if you're asking yourself, do you really want to lay 8 with Washington? You might want to think of making better bets than that at this point in the season. What do you think here, Skee? Spurs, Wizards?
Yeah, we don't have our producer today, so shout out to Real Deal Prime. He gave us a dono of $2.20. He says, "Can I get a shout out? We appreciate you tuning in." And absolutely, guys in the chat, I see you too. I'm in there with my own YouTube, and this game, I'm not really too interested. This is a bum fight. Neither one of these teams are even interested in winning games, I think, anymore. So with the injury report like it is for San Antonio and, the people who are out for the Wizards, I really don't think there's going to be any defense. I still think you can go over. I probably would prefer to play Porzingis, maybe on his 3-point prop or points prop. I know San Antonio is the worst 3-point defense, so I want to find somebody on Washington who's going to be making those 3-pointers. And it'll either be him, and I think Bradley Beal is out too, right? Yeah, so probably Porzingis 3-pointers or points or the over in this game.
God damn it. There we go. There is a prop I like here. Monte Morris, over points and assists. He's taken over now, obviously, with the injury situation that's unfolding right now. So Monte Morris, over points and assists. I do like that prop here for this game tonight. Now, in Billy's case, he has been betting against San Antonio a couple times. Like, if you've been betting against San Antonio recently and you've won, I don't hate the idea of fading them again tonight and lay the points with Washington. But I think if you haven't been fading them every game, I don't know if tonight's the night to jump in. What are you doing with this game, Billy?
We're fading them again tonight. Well, I don't think I'm laying the 8 with the Wizards. There's more than enough shit on the slate today to put them in a couple parlays or two. But I think the main prop in this game, though, is Denny Avdija over 13.5 points. He's going to get us paid tonight. Man, he's growing with confidence. He covered that prop in the last game, literally in the first half. He had a team high 12 drives last game. The Spurs give up the third most points in the paint, 25 and 14 points last 2 games versus them too. Denny Avdija is cooking right now, and I want to be a part of the Denny Avdija trade, man. 8 and 12 drives last 2 games. When you think of Denny Avdija, we used to think of him as just a 3-point stand in the corner shooter. That's not him anymore. Denny Avdija is getting to the rim. He's getting to a bucket, and I think the Wizards are going to smoke out the Spurs. I love my guys down there in San Antonio. I couldn't be with them for this one, but we're going to keep on fading, y'all. We're going to keep on making money doing it, too. And It's been good money fading the Spurs tonight.
It definitely has been. Yeah, shout out. And I'm in the same boat. Heartbroken I can't be there because of passport issues, but that's another story. But disappointing. But hey, it is what it is, and we appreciate. And we hope everyone down there is having
I can't say his last name. My bad. Dediavia, Dedialia. Like you're an American.
Yeah, is how you say it. Apparently, yeah. So it's a weird, different pronunciation. Exactly. Althea is, but anyway, we appreciate Real Deal Prime. Yeah, with the Dono, we appreciate it very much. The Dono, appreciate it, and shout out to everyone tuning in. All right, let's move along now. Next up, we've got Indiana and Boston. Boston 11.5-point home favorites, 236 being the total in this one. It's a big point spread, obviously, for the Boston Celtics. Let's give the Pacers credit. They went into Toronto, beat the Raptors 114 the other night, outright as 8.5-point underdogs in that game. Boston Celtics dismantling Sacramento in their last game, 132-109, but tricky spot, long road trip. And if you look at the Celtics schedule here in the month of March, they were at home against Brooklyn and New York to start the month, but then they went to Cleveland, back home for just one game against Portland, and then out to that 6-game road trip, took them through Atlanta to the Midwest, Houston, Minnesota, all the way out west, Portland, Utah, Sacramento, now back home for this first game. This is not exactly the type of scheduling spot that I'm saying, yeah, let's lay 11.5 here with the Boston Celtics in this game. Not for me. The question is always with Indiana, is Tyrese Haliburton going to play? Now, they did overcome his absence against the Raptors the other night, still able to win. And it does look like he's trending toward playing. He was in full participation mode with the morning shoot-around for Indiana. They've got him listed as questionable still. He's missed the last 6 games, but the fact he's even participating this morning in the shoot-around tells me he's trending toward playing. That's usually the way it works. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him playing. He hasn't officially been ruled in yet, but definitely it looks like he's trending toward playing here in this game with the Pacers and the Celtics. I definitely lean Indiana here, plus 11.5. That's just a lot of points to be laying here with Boston off a long road trip, and Boston kind of been hit or miss lately, quite honestly, as bigger favorites. Remember, against Houston, they were 13-point favorites. They lost outright recently. So we'll see here, but I'm looking at the Pacers, if anything. What do you think, Skee? Boston hosting Indiana?
Yeah, I really want to play Boston team total. The only thing I don't like is the first game back home after a long road trip. That's usually a flat spot. But Pacers not playing too much defense. They're allowing north of 120 points per game. I think if Hallie is ruled in, I would like the over on the game. And if he's ruled in, I like the over on the game. I might lean towards Indiana, but if he's out, I'm probably not going to get involved here.
I just like this spot here for Indiana, but you're right. The over makes sense. I mean, definitely. And if Haliburton plays, the over really looks strong at that point. We're just waiting on that, but the over still might get there anyway, just because of the fact the Pacers defensively, they've been struggling of late. The total's high at 236, but I definitely think it can go over that total. Billy, what do you think here? Indiana, Boston.
Me personally, the only lean I would have in this game would be Boston first quarter, but that's a pretty square play. I mean, Indiana's just the worst first quarter team in the NBA. I mean, every time they're on a slate, you want to fade them in the first quarter. They're 26, 46, and 1 ATS in the first quarter of the season. So, I mean, that right there makes me want to play Boston first quarter. But to be honest with you, there's so much stuff on today's slate. I would imagine a lot of the handles on this game are probably Boston in the first quarter. And what's going to happen? Boston's going to lose the first quarter, win the first half, and Indiana ends up covering the full game, and the books make their money. So I'm cooling on betting this game.
Yeah, I like a couple. I do like a couple Boston props here. I like Jaylen Brown over points and assists, 6 straight games it's hit, and it's 29.5 for his points and assists tonight. So. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 6 straight games he's gone over. So Jaylen Brown over points and assists looks like. I think even points and assists here. Points for Horford even. He's gone over in 3 straight as well. Miles Turner's been really aggressive lately. He's gone over points, rebounds, and assists 3 straight games for the Pacers. So a couple good props there in terms of good trending props involving Horford, Jaylen Brown, and Miles Turner tonight in this game. All right, next up, we've got Detroit and Toronto. Raptors 14.5-point home favorites, 224 being the total in this game. That was pretty disappointing from this group the other night, the way they played against Indiana. Although, let's be honest, like I said on that show on Wednesday, the Canadian-born players, they put on a show every time they play in Toronto. Every time they play well. It doesn't matter if it's SGA, doesn't matter if it's Lou Dort, Olynyk. Go on down the list of any Canadian baller in the NBA right now. When they play in Toronto, in the home country, it matters to them. And look at the way Andrew Nembhard played the other night for Indiana in Toronto. He dominated the Raptors, did everything he wanted in that game. So that mattered, and that was a big reason why the Pacers pulled through there. But nevertheless, Toronto looking to bounce back, and they might bounce back here against Detroit. Detroit is miserable. But you know what's also miserable? Toronto's track record against Detroit. That's miserable. And we've talked about this damn thing forever, that the Raptors never have an easy game against the Detroit Pistons. The Raptors have won the last 3 head-to-head straight up against Detroit, but Detroit covered all 3 of those games, and Detroit is 9-0 ATS in the last 9 head-to-head meetings versus the Toronto Raptors. So, again, we talk about this angle where I think Dwayne Casey, this is the mother of all. At some point you got to let bygones be bygones and move on with your life. But apparently it seems like every time his team plays Toronto, he wants to beat this team every single time. So they always give the Raptors fits, and it doesn't seem to matter what kind of team Toronto has, and it doesn't even seem to matter what kind of team Detroit has. Detroit has a horrible team right now. There's nothing good about the Pistons right now. And yet I've still got to lean Pistons here at plus 14.5, given the series history and given the fact that every single time they play this team, it's given Toronto a lot of problems. So, again, is it a leap of faith to bet Detroit right now? You bet. 1-9 straight up, 1-9 ATS their last 10 games. I mean, their last 4 losses by 20, by 19, by 12, by 22. They haven't even been competitive in any of these games. And yet I still got to lean Detroit based on what they've done head-to-head against this Toronto team. Just been a tough out for the Raptors repeatedly. Skee, what do you think here? Pistons, Raptors.
Yeah, petty man, right? Dwayne Casey. He gonna remember. You gonna fire him after you win Coach of the Year. He gonna make sure his team come to play every single time we see y'all. So even though the team has been shit, they've covered 9 times in a row. I think they get up for this game tonight.
And they do have a ton of injuries, Detroit. That's part of it too. Stewart, Corey Joseph, Hamidou Diallo, Alec Burks, Bogdanovich are all out. So it's going to be Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Livers, Marvin Bagley, and James Wiseman, the starting 5 tonight for Detroit. Toronto, by the way, has got some key issues injury-wise. Gary Trent, Scotty Barnes, they both didn't play the other night. And Precious Achiuwa questionable, Barnes questionable, and Gary Trent questionable. So they might miss again tonight for the Raptors. What do you think here, Billy?
I think I'm getting roasted in the chat today. God damn, man. A brother can't see daylight. It's been March Madness on my screen for feels like a week and a half straight. I wanted to see some fucking daylight before it's March Madness on my screen for a whole entire weekend again. This is a backwood. I don't know how Toronto's laying 14.5 points. God bless. You can't even parlay that. I would even parlay that. I wouldn't even want to bet Detroit plus 14.5, though, because they suck in the fourth quarter. Every time you think you got a Detroit cover, they go in there in the fourth quarter and they end up getting smoked. They're tanking. It's just like, dude, you really want to back Detroit in the first half? No, backwood. 7:30, I think there's some other games going on at that time.
All right, there we go. Good stuff. It's producer Ian today, so let me see if producer Ian can find the backwood. Here we go.
All right.
There we go. We're a master. Vic has taught me well. Obviously, Victor, who is, of course, not with us today. So there we go. We got the backwood video ready to rock anytime we need it. All right, Houston and Memphis. We might need it for this game. We'll see. Memphis, 13-point favorites, 233.5 being the total in this game. This is one of those deals, once again, where it's the same 2 teams playing each other back-to-back in the same place. Just like we saw a couple of days ago. And look, I took Houston in that game, and they lost by 5, 130-125. Game flew over the total. Memphis has Atlanta coming up on the road after this on Sunday. Houston, they play at Cleveland on Sunday. The Rockets, though, continue to be pretty scrappy, pretty competitive here. Let's see who's in the lineup for them tonight, because they were relatively healthy the other night. Looks that way again tonight. Porter, Green, Martin, Smith, Şengün. all expected to suit up. Both Williams and Steven Adams out for Memphis. Other than that, though, they've got, of course, it looks like Xavier Tillman, Jaren Jackson, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bain, Tyus Jones expected to be their starting five tonight. I'd be pumping the brakes here on Memphis tonight. 13-point favorites, a lot of points. Houston, was competitive with them the other night. Look, I had Houston in the over the other night. I'm kind of leaning about trying to go back to the well with those same two bets here tonight. Houston over the total 233. Skee, what do you think here? Rockets, Grizzlies.
I think I don't want to play the Grizzlies until they fully adjust to Morant being back in. So just because of that and how good the Rockets have been playing lately, like they've covered 5 of the last 7 games, which is within the last 2 weeks. I just think they've already tanked enough. Now they can start actually playing basketball. So 13 points, I think is a little bit too much here. I'll be leaning towards the Rockets.
All right, liking the Rockets here. I agree. Billy, what do you think?
No way, man. I don't know. I feel like the Rockets came pretty close to covering. They played really competitive in the last time that they played against Memphis. I think Memphis comes out here Friday night. We're in Memphis tonight. I think they're going to come out here and smoke the Rockets. This could be one of those type of games where, like, you don't want to back the 12.5, but you wouldn't be surprised if they won by 25 plus at the end of this game. And I definitely think more times than not, they win by 25 plus than the Rockets pulling out this outright money line. So I like Memphis, and I kind of lean towards the under 234. I think if Memphis wins this game, they're going to have to play a lot more defense than they did in that first game, dude. That first game was complete dog shit for defense. But I also think John Morant's probably going to start tonight. How do you guys feel about that tonight?
It's possible. I mean, I haven't seen confirmation. I know there's some starting lineups out there, and the sites that I use don't have him necessarily starting for sure. So I think that's play it by ear. Check closer to tip off, and we'll know for sure, I think, if he's going to be in. And again, he's been out for a while. So, he's got to gain that level of comfort and cohesion again back there on the floor. So we'll see if he can.
Houston Rockets.
It's Houston.
What level of comfort do you really need when you got
But they're playing hard. Let's give them that, Houston. Like, they're not rolling over here. Like, they're not good. They're obviously in the lottery discussion, but 13. They've been better lately. They've been competitive at least lately.
They're not really playing anybody though. Golden State's not as good as they used to be. New Orleans, yeah, they've been blowing out bad teams, but New Orleans is New Orleans, and the Lakers are the Lakers. So it's like, Skee, I know you don't want to hear it, but I mean, all those teams kind of suck.
I mean, definitely, like I say, but I'll cut them some slack though. At least in my opinion, they've done all right here in terms of being fairly competitive.
I gotta talk to the chat real quick. We got somebody saying, I forgot to scroll down too much now, but they said every underdog is not gonna win today. Hey, you want to go and lay double digits with every favorite today? Go ahead. I bet you don't come out profitable if you do that consistently. So I don't know what you're even talking about. And then Bo Jackson, he's saying the Grizzlies 7-0 at home. He's saying fade these fools. What you betting? The Grizzlies minus 800? They got to win by 14 points. What are you talking about?
So
I'd rather lay the 14 than put 14 with the Rockets, though.
Yeah. Just in general, when I see a double-digit spread, I'm always trying to make a case for the underdog first. And that's even more the case when it's late season NBA or late season in a sport, when the favorites are going through them. This is a long season, guys, when it comes to hockey and basketball. 82 games. You're going to have nights you're going through the motions, and you don't want to be on the side of a 13 or a 14-point favorite on a team that is going through the motions. And there's teams that are doing that every night now in this league. Memphis just did it the other night against this Houston.
Yeah, let me know how many of them double-digit favorites you're taking. And Bo Jackson, I would like to know, what are you taking? Grizzlies money line? Or are you laying at 13 points? I know you take a lot of juice plays. I just want to know. I'm gonna talk shit back. I'm ready.
Dude,
I'm ready.
But I'm gonna come back.
I'll speak for myself. Yeah, I got the Grizzlies in a couple of money lines and the parlays, and I got like 5-6 parlays. They in about like 2-3.
Like I say, that's fine. I mean, definitely, it's just that laying the points on its own to me is tricky, especially with, again, these, and same thing in hockey with the big money line favorites. I say that all the time with that sport. You want to lay minus 400 tonight with Colorado, who have, by the way, barely beat Arizona in overtime last time they played them. You want to be sweating a minus 450 favorite, late in the game? Go for it. Not me. All right, next up, we've got Charlotte and Dallas. Dallas 14.5-point favorites, 227 being the total here in this game. Dallas is always, you got to check this lineup. Is it going to be Luka and Kyrie? Is it going to be just Luka? Is it going to be just Kyrie? Is it going to be neither? I mean, you just don't know one game to the next when it comes to the Mavs. But it looks like Kyrie Irving questionable tonight
You could
for
say
the
the same
Mavs.
thing for the Hornets.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what makes this game very difficult. He didn't play against Golden State, and he's questionable, Kyrie Irving, tonight for this game against Charlotte. Tim Hardaway is also a game-time decision, iffy due to a illness. More props than anything else. I keep saying Josh Green, I like his props in these situations when you've got either Luka or Kyrie or both not playing, but it looks like Luka's in. It's going to be Kyrie that we're waiting on. But Josh Green becomes kind of like that secondary, step-up player now for them. So his props definitely pique my interest. For Charlotte, I mean, it's already tough enough, right, for them to win games. Like LaMelo Ball's out for the year, and now you see Kelly Oubre hobble off the court last night against New Orleans and questionable with a shoulder injury, and he gives you 20.3 points per game. Who the fuck's going to score for Charlotte? Moving forward, that's the big concern I've got with them tonight going into this game. So I don't know. Could you bet under? Charlotte's going to have a lot of offense out if Oubre doesn't play. I'll tell you that right now. Could you look under the total? I think that might be something to consider, especially if they're going to be as short-handed as they might be. And it's not just that. It's Terry Rozier, who's also doubtful tonight with a foot injury. That guy gives you 21 points per game for the Charlotte Hornets. Like, who the hell's putting the ball in the basket for the Charlotte Hornets tonight against
Dennis
this
Smith
Dallas team?
Jr.
Yeah, that's Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah, he will play at least for Charlotte. But yeah, I'd lean under or a Charlotte team total under. Like, I'm not betting this game, but I'll lean in those directions. Full game under, Charlotte team total under. I think you can make a case for both. What do you think here, Skee, with this one, Charlotte, Dallas?
Hey, thanks for tuning in, Bo Jackson. You sitting here watching people who don't know what they're talking about. I appreciate you, bro. Charlotte and Dallas. No way in hell am I laying 14 points with Dallas. What have they done to make you think they can win by this margin? They don't play defense. They're going to be without potentially two of their best scorers. There's no way that I can get there. As bad as the Hornets have been offensively, it's just, I think the Hornets can play better defense than the Mavericks. So can the Mavericks win this game by margin? They can. Am I willing to put money on it? Absolutely fucking not. It's not a good bet in my opinion.
No, I think
under, like you said, Babano. With the offense missing Kyrie potentially, Hardaway potentially, the offense has been dead for the Hornets ever since LaMelo went down. You're talking about a couple of other guys potentially being out. Under probably the only way to look.
I mean, they scored 82 against Philly, 96 against New Orleans. Like, when you're not even getting the century mark in the NBA these days, you got problems offensively. And that's what we've seen out of Charlotte 2 of the last 3 games for them. Billy, what do you think here? Hornets, Mavericks?
Backward.
Well, here we go.
All right.
All right, there we go. All right, next up, we've got Milwaukee, Utah. Milwaukee 9-point road favorites, 236 the total here in this matchup. The Bucks right now coming into this game playing pretty good for the most part. They lost to Golden State and Indiana at home. At Golden State on the road, that was a crazy game. I remember it, but they've won 4 of their last 5 going into this matchup. Utah with that 127-115 home loss against the Portland Trail Blazers. See if they can bounce back here. Milwaukee plays Denver tomorrow night on the road. Keep that in mind. That's a bigger game for the Milwaukee Bucks. So spot-wise, this kind of looks like a Utah situation here, to be quite honest with you. But do you trust Utah enough is the big question. Earlier this season in Milwaukee, it was 123-97 in favor of the Bucks. The lineup situation tonight, it looks like Chris Middleton out, Myers Leonard out, Gordon Dragic out, and Jay Crowder out for Milwaukee. Utah, no Rudy Gay, no Lauri Markkanen, no Colin Sexton, no Jordan Clarkson either for the Jazz. So it's going to be Talon Horton-Tucker, Ochai Agbaji, Simone Fontecchio, there you go. Small forward starter tonight for Utah. Kelly Olynyk and Walker Kessler going to be the starting 5 for the Jazz. I'd still lean Utah. I'm not crazy about laying 9 with Milwaukee on the road, playing Denver tomorrow night, but I don't know. That starting 5 is sketchy to put it mildly, for Utah. And we just saw them get blown out by Portland by double digits. I'd still lean Utah, though. I mean, it's not exactly a great spot for Milwaukee. What do you think here, Skee?
It's another game where I don't know. I just feel like in this one, I don't want to expect Utah to play defense. They've been giving up close to 120 points per game, and they've still been able to score no matter who's out there, right? Whether they don't play Jordan Clarkson, whether they don't play Lauri Markkanen. I just have a hard time figuring out, I want to play on teams who I know are motivated. I don't know that this Utah team is motivated to win games, and I don't know, just from how the injury report goes, it's hard to read this Utah Jazz team. I know they're 6-0 to the over the last 2 weeks, and Milwaukee, they'll be fine playing up tempo, and I think they'll look on the side and see, not too many stars. They probably won't play too much defense either. So I would lean towards over in this game. Probably the best way to play it.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that's worth a look, because I was on the best bet over for Portland, Utah the other night, and it ended up going over the total. And Utah's definitely been trending that way, not playing great defense. They have been scoring, though, a little bit. And maybe this is a night for Milwaukee's defense after, blowing out San Antonio. They got Denver tomorrow night. Maybe this is the night they just go through the motions, coast a little bit defensively. And if they do, I think it can go over the total as well. Billy, what do you think?
Yeah, Utah's one of those teams where like the GMs and the owners don't want Utah to win games, and they're doing everything possible for them not to win games, but the players on the court are still hooping out there. So, I mean, I'm not betting against them right now. I think I can only go to the prop market here in this one, and I kind of lean what Skee was saying. I think this game goes over, and if it goes over, I have Giannis projected for 35 points, so the 30.5 at -130 doesn't look bad for Giannis, but I don't know how much I want to be playing Giannis at over 30.5 on the front end of a back-to-back. But I would say Giannis would be the way I would go in this game. And maybe Kelly Olynyk props. Kelly Olynyk over 10.5 rebounds and assists. He's averaging 13.5 rebounds and assists in his last 6 games without Lauri Markkanen this season. So those are 2 little props that I was looking at for this one. My heart always loves playing Walker Kessler, but the stats are telling me Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, I think the Kelly Olynyk makes a lot of sense. 4 straight, by the way, over his rebounds and assists. That specific prop he's cashed in 4 straight games for Kelly Olynyk. So that one definitely is a good bet in my opinion there. Philly and Golden State. Golden State 5-point favorites here, 234 being the total in this game. Golden State host. This is a good matchup, obviously. Sixers. They had that game where they were off the 3-game trip and they came back home. They played Chicago. They were kind of sleepwalking, and they ended up losing that game. But they bounced back big. They crushed Chicago in Chicago, 116-91. I cashed an easy winner with Philly in that game. And now they go on to the road out west to Golden State, take on the Warriors, who are coming off. Hey, I can't believe it. 2 road wins in a row for Golden State. Can you believe it? They've actually found a way to get the job done away from home finally. Although they did not cover against Dallas, thanks to a late shot right before the buzzer there to end the game, which I'll take because I was on Dallas plus 2.5, and it covered because of that last second shot at the buzzer to lose by 2 against Golden State. I'll take it. But you look at this game now with the Warriors now going back home against
won the fucking game, man. If it wasn't for that's the most biggest bullshit ever, man. They should have won that fucking game.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, absolutely. It was.
Did you see about the ref call at halftime when they're defending the wrong court? They got Kevin Looney with a little layup. They end up losing the game by 2 points. It's just like, man, what the fuck, man?
Yep. It was a tough one for Dallas because you're right. They probably should have won that game on Wednesday night. But Golden State at home, I just don't like betting against them. Especially they're only laying 5 at home. We know how strong they've been on their home floor all year. 29-7 straight up, 25-11 against the spread at home this year for the Warriors. It looks like tonight Wiggins and Peyton and Jerome are out, but everybody else will be there. Curry, Thompson, DiVincenzo, Green, Looney. On the Philadelphia side of the fence, it looks like James Harden with the Achilles. He's missed the Chicago game the other night because of this. He's listed as questionable. There's a chance he suits up, but he's trending in the wrong direction from all indications. So it doesn't look like we'll see James Harden. We should see Embiid. He's got the calf issue, but I would say he's going to play tonight. It's a big game. against Golden State. And I think you bet anything Embiid tonight, especially points, because he wants this MVP. It's like an obsession for Joel Embiid to finally win the MVP trophy this year. So what better way to further cement your case to win this award than go out there and put on a show against Golden State, have a huge night, rack up some big numbers. So I think that's the best bet in this game. It's not a side. It's not a total. It's Joel Embiid over points. Go out there, try to cement this MVP case that you're so desperate to prove to everyone. What do you think here, Skee? Philly, Golden State.
Shout out to the chat. It's really entertaining and really funny today. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
The chat is wild today. This is the greatest chat day of all time. I wish we could screenshot the chat screen for future references.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Josh, he says he likes Seth's brother over his 3-point prop, 4.5 threes plus 125. Seth's brother. I think this line is very telling. Just because how well Philadelphia has been playing lately, and then how poor Golden State has been. Like, they did win a couple of their last games, but for them to be 5.5-point favorites versus Sixers, like, I have a system that pretty much tells me that the line is this way for a reason. And so that's what I'm getting from this. I agree with Ian that Harden is probably not going to go. Embiid probably will because he's trying to get that MVP, etc. He'll probably go get his 30 and 10 and just go sit down. And I got more faith in the Warriors. I feel like they're locked in right now.
Do it, Skee. Don't
talking a little bit on the podcast. Hey, the Warriors got me paid yesterday or the other day. The day before that, they got me paid. They're gonna get me paid again here today. I took the Warriors minus 4.5. I think they win this one by at least a few possessions. What you got, Billy?
That's how you're coming, Skee. I mean, that first game back at the crib off the road trip. You know how those type of games go. I got Philly coming in here, front end of a back-to-back. We're coming from Chicago. We got Embiid coming into this game nice and fully rested. We absolutely smoked Chicago. We clinched the playoffs. Now we're going for pride. And pride's in our eyes right now, and the pride is Joel Embiid's MVP trophy season. And I got the jacket on for a reason, man. We're coming out here for Golden State's heart, man. Who's going out there and stopping Embiid tonight? And would you be surprised if you see ESPN, Scott Panvelt, whatever his name is, Embiid goes for 45 and 20, and the Sixers beat the Warriors?
Did you just say Scott Panvelt? I think you got it.
Panzels, Panvelt, whatever the fuck. Anyways, I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch ESPN.
Van Pelt. There you go.
Van Pelt. You know what I mean. Sixers are about to come out here, and we're about to beat the Warriors tonight. Take them on that plus 5.5. That is the play of the day today. I am not cooked. I'm putting money in your pocket. It is National Cheesesteak Day. Go against it if you want. Philadelphia is going to beat the Warriors tonight.
There you go. Not just cover, but win, says Billy Briz there as a 5-point underdogs here. Like I say, I think the best way to attack it is in the whole game is just Joel Embiid props because I think he'll be up for it rather than a side. Because I could see him scoring 45 and they lose. I could see that happening potentially tonight. But maybe they do score 40. He scores 40 and they win. So we'll see. But I like over points for Joel Embiid. No need to overcomplicate it. He wants to prove a point tonight.
Sorry, Ian, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right.
The chat is hilarious. They said Scott Van Pelt low key moving lines.
Hey, he does have his own betting segments on SportsCenter. He does winners. He does the bad beats. He actually makes picks on SportsCenter once a week. The winners segment that he does there on that SportsCenter. So he actually does make picks. Maybe he does move the lines. Who knows? All right, next up, we got Chicago and Portland. Chicago, 4.5-point road favorites, 221.5 the total. And that was a debacle against Philadelphia the other night for Chicago. And it looks like DeMar DeRozan is out for them tonight. Quadriceps injury. He left the game against Philadelphia Wednesday night because of that, so he will miss tonight as well. It looks like Javonte Green and Alex Caruso expected to play, though, for the Bulls. It is a bounce-back spot. Pretty strong one here for Chicago, but without DeRozan, do you want to back them is the question. Portland did beat Utah 127-115 in their last game, but they haven't been very good on their home floor lately. Last 3 home games, pretty wretched. They lost all 3, both straight up and ATS. And it would just be so typical of Chicago after such a bad game against Philly the other night to bounce back. They have been decent in these spots off a loss lately. So I do like Chicago a little bit here, and they have beaten Portland. They did beat Portland the one time earlier this year that they played, February 4th in Chicago, 129-121. This total being bet down to 222.5 on the Portland side, by the way. It looks like lots of injuries there. Winslow, Simons, Jeremy Grant, Nurkic is a game-time decision tonight for the Blazers, and it looks like Damian Lillard, same thing. So keep an eye on this, whether they're going to be able to suit up tonight for the Portland Trailblazers in this game. Downgraded to questionable, Lillard, with that calf injury. So the money's come in on Chicago. They're off a bad loss. I could see them winning and covering here in this game, laying 4.5. I would probably look too at Zach LaVine probably, because usually when DeMar's out, that's the guy that really takes over and dominates in terms of scoring. So you could go over points and assists. Either one, I think, is a good prop bet with Zach LaVine tonight for Chicago. What do you think here, Skee? Bulls, Blazers?
I think I trust the Bulls more than the Blazers with who's going to be out there on the court, especially. There's too many people missing. Lillard potentially out, Simons, Grant. I mean, who's actually going to be out there playing? And you at least got the people, or besides the DeRozan, you got people. All right. At least you got the people we care about for the Bulls, except for DeRozan. So I like the energy Pat Bev has brought over there. Ever since he came, they got that body language back, like they really care and they're trying to win. And they have been playing well lately. So I think they can keep that going. I think the market is moving this line in the right direction, and the Bulls probably win it by a few possessions.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you look at the last game. Okay, first of all, Philly lost at home to Chicago, that flat spot off the road trip. So Philly was coming to play in Chicago, and Philly's a good team, and they came to play against Chicago the other night. And that was the game DeRozan got hurt. Once he got hurt and left the game, it fell apart.
He got hurt, or did he walk off the court? Because it felt like he walked off the court when I was watching that game live. He looked like he wanted no parts.
I think it's an injury because he's not playing tonight. If it was just he didn't want any part of that game, why is he not playing tonight? I think it was an injury, but it's just, like I said, Philly wanted to win that after losing at home to Chicago. So I don't penalize Chicago too much. Even as ugly as a loss as it ended up being, I don't penalize them too much. I think they're capable of coming back and winning tonight as well. What do you think here, Billy?
I like the prop market in this game. Zach LaVine over 4.5 rebounds. He's over 5 out of his last 6 games without DeRozan in the lineup this season. And then Zach LaVine over 2.5 3-pointers. 11 games without DeMar DeRozan in the last 2 seasons. He's attempted at least 8 3-point shots from deep and at least 11 3-point shots in 4 out of 11 games. So, I mean, 8.5 attempts per game over that span. I mean, he can definitely go over that 2.5 3-point shot at -115. I know some FanDuel books on different states have trade ball Fridays. So that would be definitely one I would be looking at for 3-point props tonight.
All right, very good. All right, Phoenix, Sacramento. We've got Sacramento 4.3.5 actually point home favorites here, 239.5 the total in this game. You look at this matchup here, Phoenix and Sacramento. It looks like DeAndre Ayton, Kevin Durant already ruled out, so it'll be CP3, Booker, Okogie, Craig, and B squared. Bismack Biyombo again starting center. Kevin Huerter, game time decision on the Sacramento side, but actually looks like he's been upgraded to probable with the knee injury. He was at shoot around this morning, so it looks like he'll be good to go. Pretty healthy team, Sacramento. Fox, Huerter, Barnes, Murray, Sabonis. They'll all be good to go in the starting 5 tonight for Sacramento. Obviously, we saw what happened to the Suns losing to Skee's LA Lakers the other night, 122-111 in that game. And, of course, that game, too, there was no Ayton or Durant for Phoenix. So they're going to be out again. I don't like the way they're playing on the road. They've lost 3 straight on the road to the Warriors, the Thunder, and the Lakers. They're just 1-5 straight up. 0-6 against the spread for the Suns as well in their last 6 games. I know they're moving this line toward Phoenix, not me. In fact, I'm just waiting, and I'm probably going to end up on Sacramento. I don't want to take Phoenix on the road right now with no Durant, no Ayton. And this Sacramento team, which again, people have been waiting on this team to just fall apart. Yeah, they've lost 2 in a row, and that loss against Boston was pretty rough for them back on Tuesday night. But I think they got a good chance to bounce back here and right the ship. I trust them a little bit more than the Suns on the road at the moment. What do you think here, Skee, with Suns and Kings?
Suns and Kings. I don't trust the Suns right now. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games, I believe. Gonna be without Aiden, without KD. I just, when they first got KD, I thought everybody was buying back in or whatever, but I don't know. Something's off. Something's wrong with this Suns team. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I could only look towards the Kings, who, let me just check here. Last 2 weeks, they were 5-3 straight up in against the spread. The Suns haven't covered one game the past 2 weeks, so this one is pretty simple. Yeah, the Kings at home playing really good basketball. Don't think they'll have to play much defense tonight against the Suns either. I think they can just outscore them. So lean minus the 3.5. And if it's a Kings game that I expect them to win, like I said, they're not going to win it by defense. I probably like the over as well.
And it's a high total, but I agree it's high for a reason. It could only look over as well. What do you think here, Billy? Phoenix, Sacramento.
Yeah, you guys didn't really leave any meat left on the bone. I mean, I'm right there with you. Sacramento is definitely the way to go in this game. I'm actually shocked that it's not more favorited towards Sacramento, considering that DeAndre Ayton's out for this one. I mean, you could have saw that LA game the other night with Anthony Davis. He was absolutely manhandling Jack Landau and Bismack Biyombo. So Domantas Sabonis props in this one probably. I don't know which one specifically, but I think Domantas Sabonis is definitely going to have a good game in this one tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd look Sabonis. I'd give Keegan Murray a look too for Sacramento, because he's been on a good run of late for this Sacramento team. 3 straight games he's gone over his point prop and well over it, by the way, as well. Like his point prop's only 12.5. He's been averaging almost 19 points per game the last few games for the Sacramento Kings. So definitely I would look at over points for Keegan Murray, starting to heat up, shooting the basketball right now for the Sacramento Kings. All right, next up, final game for this Friday card, Oklahoma City and LA Lakers. Lakers 5.5-point home favorites, 231 being the total in this one. The Lakers, of course, beating the aforementioned Suns the other night. We'll see if they can keep it going here against Oklahoma City tonight. OKC off their own, loss to the other LA team, the Clippers, the other night, 127-105. Looking to a bounce back. It's actually back-to-back here for the Thunder after that loss to the Clippers last night. Rest advantage here for the Lakers after the game against the Phoenix Suns. So it definitely sets up well for the Lakers if you want to lay 5.5, and that's the question.
Side note, D'Lo was downgraded
for tonight. Yes, I'm just looking right now. We know LeBron ain't playing. We know Anthony Davis is playing. But you're right, D'Angelo Russell for the LA Lakers downgraded to questionable, not out for sure, but a lot more uncertainty about whether he will play. Right hip injury for him. So it looks like, the last 24 hours, that injury's gotten a little bit worse for him. So again, we'll have to wait and see closer to tip off if he'll be able to be good to go for the Lakers. It's definitely a Lakers spot, no question. But do you want to lay 5.5? I'm more of a person that likes to take the Lakers as a pick 'em or take points as a dog with them. Once you start looking at the Lakers here, laying 5.5 in this kind of range, I get a little hesitant, but I certainly don't want the Thunder in this spot. So Lakers are nothing for me. Skee, what do you like here? Thunder and Lakers. Maybe a lean to the over here, perhaps.
Well, I do have a system active on the Thunder. It says road dogs getting 5.5 or less in conference games on the second of a back-to-back after they just lost on the road. And it's pretty much saying that the Thunder can win this game outright, and says that they cover at a 66.7% clip. So I don't really want to back the Lakers. I know they need to win every single game. They can probably win this one by a couple of points and not cover the game. So I prefer to play Austin Reeves. I think that's the best bet. Whether D'Lo was in or not, I mean, even if you watching these games, D'Lo is playing off ball. They letting Austin Reeves make. He's making the best decisions. He's getting to the foul line. He's doing everything you need him to do. So I think that continues. He's probably going to start again tonight. He has no reason not to after the way he just played, 25 and 11. I think you have to look at his assist over 5.5. If it's still that number since D'Angelo's questionable, I think he can get a double-double in this game. I like his PRA. He's hit that 3 of the last 4 games as well. It's an Austin Reeves night. AR-15, get it done. And Reeves, we trust.
All right, and I agree. Austin Reeves props probably worth a look. And I want to point out regarding SGA as well, it's not a sure thing he suits up tonight because he played last night in the front end of the back-to-back against the Clippers. And they're saying with that abdominal strain he has, they might just decide to rest him tonight and not play him against the Lakers on the back-to-back. And if he doesn't play, you know what that means? It means it's Isaiah Joe props time for yours truly. We've been talking about Isaiah Joe a ton.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No?
I bet the under. I'll tell you a funny story, Bavano. I went to bet the over on it the last time. I actually ended up betting under, and I called Betway. Betway is one of the worst sports books ever. The lady said no, you're gonna have to deal with your bet, and hung up. And the under ended up cashing with a fucking cigar. Isaiah Joe only had 6 points, and I wanted to email back the lady and told her to suck it and never played on that fucking shit-ass sports book again. Sorry if anybody's listening to this. Kids in the car.
Sounds like a bad experience, I will say.
Yeah, Betway's a bad sports book, man.
There you go. No way for Betway, says there you go for Billy Briz. What do you like here, Billy, in this one? Thunder Lakers.
I like AR-15 props, but I think there's a lot of value on Dennis Schroeder props. I mean, 11.5 points, minus 130, 4.5 assists, minus 110. Dennis Schroeder to have 20 points is plus 600. For him to have over 1.5 threes is plus 190. Him to have 3 threes is plus 700. For him, it's like Dennis Schroeder is a lot of value on Dennis Schroeder props tonight. So don't forget about him. I know there's a lot of AR-15 love, but Dennis Schroeder's usage rating is going to be the highest one tonight, and I think he's going to be the one ball handling going up against a former this is a revenge game for Dennis Schroeder, right? Didn't he play for the Thunder? So, I mean, he's going to want to hoop out a little bit. A lot of value on Dennis Schroeder tonight.
All right, Dennis Schroeder here. Props might be worth a look, says Billy here for the Lakers in this one tonight against Oklahoma City. All right, great stuff. 200 live viewers almost in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Shout out to everyone in the chat. A rambunctious chat for a Friday edition of the NBA Pub Hub. But we appreciate it. We love the passion that everybody has in the chat. Shout out to everyone. Hit the like button. We'll be back with our best bets to wrap up the week and wrap up this edition of the NBA Pub Hub right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Southtown 101. Hope everybody's having a blast down there right now at Pubapalooza 2 and Manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com, promo code PubSports. All right, best bets to wrap it up for this Friday edition and the final show of the week. And, of course, we're back on Monday, OG Monday edition of the NBA Pub Up next week at 4 p.m. Eastern to get us started again. Skee, we'll go to you first. Best bet, what do you like?
Yeah, best bet. I mean, you got to trust Austin Reeves, man. I already talked about it. He's going to do majority of the playmaking, especially if D'Angelo Russell doesn't go tonight and he's downgraded to questionable already. Schroeder, if you want to bet on him, I would say you probably bet his points because he's blind. If you didn't see the game last night, you can't even see Anthony Davis under the basket with CP3 on him. But I just feel like Austin Reeves does the best job getting AD the ball. He's really good in the pick and roll and just creating for himself and others. So however you choose to play him, I'm playing him both ways. PRA, I'm playing his assist. I might even ladder his assist, but the best bet for the show will be over 5.5 assists for AR-15.
There we go, AR-15. Austin Reeves, over 5.5 assists, LA Lakers for Skee with his best bet. Billy Briz, best bet.
I mean, how can it not be with the Sixers hoodie on and not be best bet Sixers plus 5.5? Sixers about to go into Golden State tonight. Joel Embiid's going to get this MVP trophy. National Cheesesteak Day. Make sure you get your cheesesteaks, baby. Let's go.
All right, there you go. Philadelphia to cover against Golden State, if not win outright. Billy Briz liking the Sixers against the Warriors for best bet. My best bet, look, we don't bet teams. We bet numbers. We bet spots. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. Indiana plus 11.5 against Boston off a long road trip for the Celtics. Pacers catch them in a good spot for the Pacers, a tough one for the Celtics. It's looking like Ty Halliburton's trending toward playing for Indiana tonight. And I think they keep that reasonably competitive tonight with Boston. So we'll go with the Pacers plus 11.5 against the Celtics for my best bet for this Friday card. That'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Pub Hub. A shout out to everyone in the chat. Again, hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. AOD especially for the love in the chat. Houston Cougars. There you go. Remember Skee getting that shirt last year when we were there for the regionals in
NCAA best bet. Princeton Tigers tonight, baby. Take a little sprinkle on the money line. Bet the overs in the game. Princeton Tigers are going to come out and ball tonight, baby. Let's go.
Cinderella is not losing the slipper tonight, says Billy Briz with Princeton there against the Creighton Blue Jays. It was a great night of Sweet 16 last night. Hopefully it will be tonight as well. That's a wrap. There is no college basketball net profit. Again, everybody's in town for Pubapalooza, so there's no net profit show today in a few minutes. But the plan is for the three of us, me and Connor Mack and Cab tomorrow, we'll be on at 10 a.m. Eastern. 9 a.m. Central tomorrow for the Saturday College Basketball Pub Up, and we'll preview the entire weekend on tomorrow's show. All 4 regional finals for the NCAA tournament. We'll preview it tomorrow morning, so make sure you join us for that. For Billy Briz and Skee Profit, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And I'll be back with Cab and Connor for the College Basketball Pub Up tomorrow morning, and we will be back next Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, with a brand new week on the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio.